Once upon a time there was a boy named Jomo, a shy round-faced Kenyan boy who had been pampered from birth. Born into the wealthy Kenyatta family, Jomo was the prince of their gated fortress, treated with a reverence that did him no favors. If he craved mandazis for breakfast, a platter appeared. If he wanted burgers delivered through the heavy traffic, a motorbike rider was dispatched instantly. As the years passed, Jomo expanded, and while his parents viewed his size as a symbol of their abundance, the world outside their gates saw a target. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel Echoes of Africa. One morning, as Jomo trudged toward the gates of the prestigious Rift Valley Academy, his blazer buttons straining against his midsection, he spotted them: Kiprop, the school's undisputed tyrant, and his entourage, leaning against the stone archway. Jomo had long been the punchline of their cruel comedy, but today the air felt heavier. Kiprop's eyes narrowed the second he locked onto Jomo. He leaned into his friends, whispering a jagged comment that made them explode into raucous laughter. As Jomo drew near, his gait heavy and self-conscious, Kiprop stepped into his path. "Watch out, the ground is shaking. Big Jomo is coming through, better reinforce the concrete." The entrance plaza erupted with jeers, and Jomo froze, the heat rising in his cheeks as he fixed his gaze on the dust covering his shoes, pretending the words didn't cut like knives. But the volume only increased. "Look at him sweat just standing there," Kiprop sneered, pointing a finger. "He'll need a rescue team just to get to his locker." Jomo's heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird, but he forced his legs to move, his stomach twisting not from the rich breakfast he'd eaten, but from the hollow ache of rejection. He tried to summon his mother's daily affirmation: "You are a king, Jomo, never forget that," but the words dissolved like smoke. Jomo finally reached his classroom where Zuri, a sharp-witted girl who always had her nose buried in a textbook, was saving him a seat. She was the only person who looked at Jomo and saw a human being rather than a spectacle. She immediately noticed the slump in his shoulders. "Jomo, is everything all right?" she asked, her brow furrowing. He shook his head, wedging himself into the chair that felt increasingly like a vice. "It's Kiprop again," he murmured, unable to meet her eyes. "I'm exhausted, Zuri. Every single morning, it's a new humiliation." Zuri reached out, resting a reassuring hand on his forearm. "Ignore them. They are small-minded people. They don't define you. But what if they see exactly what I am?" Jomo whispered, his voice cracking with vulnerability. "What if I really am just a joke?" Before Zuri could offer a rebuttal, the lecturer entered, and the room quieted, but Jomo's internal world remained chaotic. The mocking laughter of Kiprop and his crew looped in his mind, drowning out the lesson. He couldn't concentrate. He felt imprisoned in a vessel that betrayed him, a walking billboard for ridicule that he couldn't take down. Lunchtime was an exercise in isolation. Jomo sat at the furthest table in the cafeteria, staring blankly at the tray of food he usually devoured. His appetite had withered, replaced by a cold knot of misery. Across the hall, he saw Kiprop's table, rowdy and loud, their eyes occasionally flicking toward him like predators tracking wounded prey. He turned his back to them, feigning disinterest, but the sting was inescapable. At home, the reality was jarringly different. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kenyatta, doted on him with suffocating affection, blind to the torment he endured. "Eat, my son, you need your strength," his father would boom, piling more chapati onto his plate. His mother, always hovering with a serving spoon, smiled with a disconnect that made Jomo want to scream. They loved him, yes, but they were oblivious to the war he fought daily. That evening, staring at a feast he didn't want, something snapped inside Jomo. The hunger was gone, replaced by a desperate fatigue. Tired of the jokes, tired of the pity, tired of the person looking back at him in the mirror. "Baba, Mama," he started, his voice quiet but cutting through the clatter of silverware. "I need to say something." His parents paused, forks suspended, exchanging a puzzled look. I am miserable," Jomo confessed, his voice trembling. "At school, I am a laughingstock because of my size. I don't know how much longer I can endure it." His mother's face crumbled, and his father set down his glass, frowning. "But Jomo, you are perfect. Why listen to the noise of jealous boys? His father asked, confused. Because it destroys me. Jomo retorted, the honesty spilling out before he could check it. I dread walking through those gates. I dread being seen. I am not happy with who I am. His mother reached across the mahogany table, grasping his hand. Oh, Jomo, we had no idea. We only wanted you to have the best life. Jomo swallowed the lump in his throat, tears stinging his eyes. I just want to feel like I belong. That night, lying in the dark, Jomo knew a line had been crossed. He couldn't go on existing as the pampered prince who was the court jester at school. But the road to reinvention was foggy. How does one dismantle a life built on excess? And more terrifyingly, how could he ever stand up to Kiprop, who viewed him as nothing more than prey? The next day, Jomo sat at his desk, building a wall of silence around himself to block out the snickers. Kiprop had already fired his morning salvo of insults, but today, Jomo felt a strange detachment. The confession to his parents had unlocked a door in his mind. He was done being this version of Jomo. Walking home, avoiding the main roads, Jomo caught snippets of a conversation between two older students ahead of him. They were discussing the Iron Yard, a notorious open-air gym in the grittier side of the city where the hardest men forged their bodies. He had seen the types who trained there, veins like road maps, shoulders like boulders. They commanded a fearful respect. That's where the lions train, one boy said. Kiprop is there every evening. That's why no one touches him. The mention of Kiprop made Jomo's ears burn. He realized then that a mental shift wasn't enough. He needed a physical armor. If he wanted the bullying to stop, he had to speak a language Kiprop understood. Strength. Sleep evaded him that night. The image of the Iron Yard dominated his thoughts. Was this the key? If he entered that world, could he carve out a new identity? A voice of caution whispered that he was out of his depth, but desperation shouted louder. The following afternoon, Jomo made his choice. He bypassed his driver and took a matatu to the edge of the city. He didn't tell his parents. His mother would weep, and his father would try to hire a private trainer. This journey had to be his own. He stood before the Iron Yard. It was an intimidating enclosure of corrugated metal and chain-link fences, smelling of rust and old sweat. Heavy hip-hop beats thumped from a blown-out speaker. Jomo hesitated, then stepped through the gap in the fence. The atmosphere was primal, clanging iron, grunts of exertion, and the heavy thud of tires being flipped. Jomo felt microscopic. Then he saw him. Kiprop was holding court near the bench press, surrounded by his sycophants who looked like they were carved from granite. Kiprop spotted Jomo instantly, a cruel smirk spreading across his face. Well, is there a buffet hidden in here? Kiprop announced, his voice slicing through the noise. What is Big Jomo doing in the lion's den? Did you get lost looking for a bakery? The gym erupted in laughter, the sound bouncing off the metal sheets. Jomo's pulse raced, but he planted his feet. I am here to train, he said, his voice surprisingly steady. Just like everyone else. Kiprop raised an eyebrow, feigning shock. Train? You? This place isn't for soft boys, Jomo. This is where we build weapons. What are you going to do, lift a dumbbell and magically become a man? More laughter followed, but Jomo clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. Watch me, he muttered, turning his back on them. He found a quiet corner with rusted dumbbells and started. It was humiliating. He was weak, and every movement was a struggle. He could feel Kiprop's eyes boring into his back, the silent judgment heavy in the air. Yet, he pushed through the burn, fueled by a new, volatile mixture of shame and resolve. Weeks turned into a routine. Jomo returned to the Iron Yard daily. The physical toll was agonizing. His body screamed in protest, but slowly, the pain turned into power. His shirts became looser. His arms, once soft, began to show the definition of muscle. His legs felt like tree trunks rather than pillars of sand. But beyond the physical, a callus was forming over his spirit. However, the The gym was not the sanctuary of self-improvement he had imagined. It was a breeding ground for toxicity. The boys there didn't just want strength, they wanted dominance. The hierarchy was brutal, and Kiprop sat at the apex. As Jomo spent more time in that orbit, he realized the culture was about crushing the weak, not lifting them up. One humid afternoon, Jomo was cooling down when he overheard Kiprop talking to his lieutenants. "The fat boy has been consistent," one muttered. "He is actually moving some weight." Kiprop spat on the ground. "It doesn't matter. You can paint a donkey like a zebra, but it's still a donkey. He's soft on the inside. Always will be." The words hit Jomo harder than a falling barbell. He realized that in Kiprop's world, he would never be an equal, only a tolerated intruder. Perhaps the iron wasn't enough to change his soul. Zuri found him at the gym a few days later. She looked out of place in her neat uniform amidst the grime. Seeing the dark circles under his eyes, she frowned. "Jomo, look at you," she said, her voice laced with worry. "You don't look healthy. You look haunted." "I am doing what is necessary," Jomo lied, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I am changing." "But into what?" Zuri challenged, stepping closer. "You have hardened, Jomo. And I don't mean your muscles. You are losing your light." "This is the only way, Zuri," he snapped, startling her. "I need respect. I need to show them I am not prey." "You are becoming one of them," she whispered. "Is that the victory you want?" Jomo stood frozen, but before he could answer, Kiprop sauntered over, flanked by his crew. He clapped his hands slowly, a mocking applause. "Look at this, the mascot has a cheerleader," Kiprop sneered. "What is she doing here, Jomo? Counting your reps because you can't count past 10. Zuri glared at him, fearless. "Leave him alone, Kiprop." Kiprop laughed, a dark, hollow sound. "This is my yard, little girl. And Jomo, he's just playing dress-up. He doesn't belong." He stepped into Jomo's personal space, his breath hot on Jomo's face. "You think lifting metal changes your DNA? You think you can ever be one of us? You are pathetic." For the first time, Jomo didn't retreat. He locked eyes with his tormentor, anger boiling over. "I am not trying to be you," he said quietly. "I am trying to be better than I was." Kiprop's smirk faltered for a second, sensing the change, but he recovered with a dismissive shrug. "Whatever. Keep dreaming." As they walked away, Zuri grabbed Jomo's arm. "This place, it is poisoning you," she warned. Jomo stayed silent, but he knew she was right. The iron yard was a rabbit hole, and he was falling deep. Jomo kept returning, but the atmosphere shifted. The gym was merely a front for something else. The brotherhood Kiprop led wasn't about fitness, it was a gang. There were huddled meetings, exchanges of packages, and hushed tones that stopped whenever an outsider walked by. One evening, leaving late, Jomo saw Kiprop and his inner circle arguing by the back gate. They didn't see him in the shadows. "Tomorrow night is the night," Kiprop hissed. "The security at the warehouse in industrial area is weak. We go in, grab the electronics, and vanish. Clean." Jomo's blood ran cold. This wasn't bullying, this was armed robbery. Kiprop was a criminal. He stepped back, his foot crunching on loose gravel. The sound was like a gunshot in the silence. Kiprop spun around. "Who's there?" Jomo froze, his heart hammering against his ribs. There was no running. Kiprop's predator eyes found him. "Ah, the mascot," Kiprop sneered, stalking forward, his crew fanning out to block the exit. "Eavesdropping is a dangerous hobby, Jomo." I didn't hear anything," Jomo stammered. Kiprop's face darkened. "You've been hovering for weeks. You want to be part of the crew, don't you? You want the respect." Jomo hesitated. The weight of the moment crushed him. If he denied it, if he showed fear now, Kiprop would destroy him. The desperate need to prove he wasn't a coward overrode his morality. "Yeah." Jomo said, his voice trembling. I want in. Kiprop raised an eyebrow, surprised. You want in? You don't know what you're asking for, rich boy. This isn't a game. I am serious, Jomo insisted, the lie tasting like ash in his mouth. I am tired of being the joke. I can do this. Kiprop grinned, a shark sensing blood. Fine. He slapped a heavy hand on Jomo's shoulder. We will see if you have the heart. Tomorrow night, 11:30 p.m., behind the gym. You show up, or you are out. Permanently. The gang dispersed, leaving Jomo shivering in the warm night air. What had he done? Walking home, Jomo felt detached from reality. He was about to commit a felony. Yet, a twisted part of him, the part that had been mocked for years, felt a surge of adrenaline. This would shatter the image of the soft boy. The next day at school was a blur. Zuri cornered him at lunch. What is wrong? She demanded. You look like you've seen a ghost. Jomo tried to deflect, but Zuri knew him too well. It's not just the gym. Tell me. Jomo sighed, looking around to ensure the coast was clear. I heard them talking. Kiprop, they are robbing a warehouse tonight. They are criminals, Zuri. Zuri's eyes went wide. And you are still going there? I don't have a choice. Jomo hissed. I told them I was in. If I back out now, they will know I am weak. They will hunt me down. Jomo, listen to yourself. Zuri cried, keeping her voice low. This isn't about weak or strong. This is prison. You are throwing your life away for Kiprop. I have to prove myself, Jomo said, his stubbornness masking his terror. I will handle it. I won't let you, Zuri said firmly. I will be there. I will stop you if I have to. Stay away, Zuri. Jomo pleaded. But the set of her jaw told him it was useless. That night, Jomo stood behind the gym at 11:30, the darkness swallowing him. Kiprop and his crew arrived, dressed in black, faces grim. Ready to earn your stripes? Kiprop asked. Jomo nodded, nauseous. You are the lookout. Don't fall asleep. As they moved out, Zuri emerged from the alleyway, looking terrified. Jomo, stop. Please. Kiprop whirled around. What is she doing here? She's just a friend, she won't talk, Jomo panicked. Kiprop stepped up to Zuri. If you breathe a word, or if you mess this up, both of you will pay. Zuri glared at him but stayed silent, terrified for Jomo. The gang moved, sweeping Jomo along like a leaf in a storm. At the warehouse, the tension was suffocating. Kiprop and the heavy hitters broke the lock with practiced ease. Jomo stood outside, shaking, staring into the darkness. Zuri stood beside him, whispering prayers. Inside, the sounds of looting began. Suddenly, the night was torn apart by sirens. Blue and red lights flooded the alley. Policy! One of the gang members screamed. Kiprop burst out of the warehouse. I thought you said it was clear. He roared at Jomo, grabbing his collar. You set us up. I didn't. Jomo cried. Run! Zuri screamed, grabbing Jomo's hand. Panic erupted. The police were swarming. Gunshots cracked through the air, warning shots that sent shockwaves through Jomo's bones. He saw one of Kiprop's men tackled to the concrete. Another tripped and was swarmed by officers. Go, Jomo! Zuri yanked him toward a narrow gap in the fence. They sprinted, lungs burning, the chaos fading behind them but the terror sticking to their skin. They ran until they collapsed behind an abandoned kiosk, gasping for air. That was close, Zuri panted, tears streaming down her face. We could be dead. Jomo couldn't speak. The sound of the handcuffs, the gunshots, it replayed in his mind. He wasn't a gangster. He was just a boy who wanted to be left alone. We have to go home, Zuri whispered, before anyone links us to this. The next morning, Jomo walked through school like a zombie. He kept his head down, but by lunch, Kiprop found him. He cornered Jomo by the lockers, his face a mask of fury. "You think you can just walk away?" Kiprop hissed. "My boys are in Central Police Station because of you." "I didn't call them," Jomo whispered, trembling. "It doesn't matter," Kiprop snarled. "If you say one word about me being there, I will end you. Understand?" Zuri stepped in between them. "Leave him alone, Kiprop. He won't talk." Kiprop laughed darkly. "You think you can protect him? You are playing a dangerous game." He flashed Jomo a look that promised violence and walked away. The days that followed were a nightmare. Jomo lived in constant paranoia. Every shadow looked like Kiprop. Zuri tried to comfort him, but the walls were closing in. Rumors were swirling about the robbery. The police had identified the school uniform on one of the captured boys. Then, the announcement came. "Jomo Kenyatta, report to the principal's office." The class went silent. Jomo stood, his legs feeling like water. Zuri gave him a terrified look. As he walked the corridor, he felt the noose tightening. Inside the office, the principal sat with two CID officers. "Sit down, Jomo," the principal said gravely. "We have information linking you to the warehouse robbery," one officer said, leaning forward. "You were seen with the suspects. We need you to come to the station." I don't know anything," Jomo lied, his voice barely a squeak. "This is serious, son," the officer warned. "We will give you 24 hours to think about your cooperation. If you don't come in voluntarily, we will come for you." Jomo took the card they offered, his hands shaking. Walking out, he felt like a dead man walking. Zuri met him at the gate. "They know," Jomo whispered. "They want me to confess." "They are framing you," Zuri said, her voice urgent. "I heard Kiprop. He is going to plant evidence on you. He wants you to take the fall for the ringleader." "I have no choice," Jomo sobbed. Suddenly, a black saloon car pulled up. Kiprop stepped out, smirking. "The clock is ticking, fat boy. You go to the cops, you tell them it was your idea, and maybe Zuri here stays safe." One of Kiprop's thugs grabbed Zuri's arm. She screamed. "Let her go," Jomo shouted. "Confess, or she pays," Kiprop said coldly. Jomo was paralyzed. He couldn't destroy his life, but he couldn't sacrifice Zuri. Just then, a rugged Land Cruiser screeched to a halt. The door flew open, and a tall, muscular man stepped out, Aching, Zuri's older brother. He stormed over, his face thunderous. "Get your hands off my sister," Aching bellowed. The thug released Zuri instantly. Kiprop took a step back, recognizing Aching. "This isn't over, Jomo," Kiprop hissed, signaling his crew to retreat. They sped off. Aching turned to Jomo. "We need to talk. Now." At Zuri's house, Jomo spilled everything. Aching listened, his expression grim. "You made a mess, Jomo. But we won't let you take the fall for that coward." "But Kiprop has connections," Jomo said hopelessly. "So do I," Aching said firmly. "We will expose him." The next few days were a blur of strategy. But Kiprop wasn't done. He cornered Jomo and Zuri in the library. "You think your brother can save you?" Kiprop mocked. "You are just a spoiled, fat coward." Jomo stood up. The fear was gone, replaced by a cold resolve. "I am not afraid of you anymore, Kiprop. Do your worst." Kiprop's smile faltered. He saw a different Jomo. "You will regret this." Jomo knew he had to act. He spent the next day finding every boy Kiprop had ever tormented, the victims, the outcasts. He gathered them on the soccer pitch. "We are stronger together," Jomo told them, his voice ringing with newfound authority. "It ends tonight." They set a trap behind the gym. When Kiprop and his remaining crew arrived to plan their next move, Jomo and his army of gazelles emerged from the shadows. They surrounded the gang. Kiprop laughed nervously. "What is this?" "It is over," Jomo said. The sheer numbers overwhelmed Kiprop's crew. They were subdued without a punch being thrown. Jomo looked at his former tormentor, now small and defeated. "We are going to the police." Walking to the station, Zuri held Jomo's hand. "You don't have to admit you were there," she whispered. "I do," Jomo said. "I have to own my mistakes." Zuri stopped him, tears in her eyes. "I love you, Jomo. You are the bravest person I know." Jomo smiled, leaning down to kiss her, a promise of a better future. "I love you too, Zuri." At the station, Jomo told the truth. He implicated himself but exposed the entire operation. Because of his cooperation and the testimony of the other victims, the police showed leniency. Kiprop, however, was booked for multiple felonies. Leaving the station, Jomo felt lighter than air. He went home and sat his parents down. "Mom, Dad," he said gently. "You loved me too much. You made me soft. But I am not a child anymore. I need to stand on my own feet." His father nodded, eyes wet with pride. "We hear you, my son." The next day, Jomo walked through the school gates. Kiprop was gone. The air tasted sweeter. He caught Zuri's eye across the courtyard and smiled. He had walked through the fire and forged himself, not into a bully, but into a man. Thanks for watching till the end. If this story moved you, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel Echoes of Africa so you don't miss our next adventure. Here is another story I know you'll love. Click it now.